What's up, my magical friends? Welcome back to Your Most Magical Life. I'm Mia Magic, and today we're talking about the Taurus new moon partial solar eclipse that is happening around April 30th. And of course, I'll be leading a new moon ritual to really tap into our sensual energy and connect with this grounded Taurus frequency on April 29th at 5 p.m. PST. So if you'd like to join us, please get your ticket below. Those of you who are in Europe, you will always get the replay, so you can do it at any time that works for you. And I'm very excited to lead you all in some magic together. This is going to be a very powerful lunation, and for me in particular, Taurus is my rising sign, and I think one of the most important signs of the zodiac, because it is all about not only our stability and our foundation and our groundedness, but our connection to the earth and nature. So we've just had Earth Day, which for me, obviously, Earth Day is every day. And I highly invite and encourage you to shift into that mindset as well. Like all the things we do on Earth Day, what if we did that every single day? Like picked up all the trash from the beach that we wanted, or in the forest, or like spent more time in nature, or did a channeled writing from Mother Earth, or, any one of those things, donating to amazing causes. I really love Save the Redwoods. Again, if you are interested in donating to a cause and you want to get like double your money, if any of you donate to Save the Redwoods, which is my personal favorite charity, I just went to their gala yesterday, then you can get that same amount off of any of my programs on my website. So if you donate to them, send me a screenshot to team@miamagic.com, and we will give you that same amount that you donate to Save the Redwoods off of any of my programs. Just a tidbit for you. So that's a big part of this energy, is connecting to the earth. Taurus is the most earthy of the signs. It's the most meditative, the most zen. And it's also ruled by Venus. So it's about our sensuality. It's about our comfort. And not just like, oh, I'm feeling comfortable, but like feeling settled into who you are, feeling centered in yourself, in the way that you operate in your life, in how you calm and settle your nervous system, in how you relate to and interact with other people. And it's Beltane, which is so exciting. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that later, but it's really a potent and auspicious time to be in ritual, to be in your magical workings. I wish I was going to be leading a ritual, but I'm flying to Scotland for my retreat, which I'm so excited about. It's going to be so epic. The castle is just like outstanding. And so if you are interested in coming on a retreat with me at some point in the future, please make sure to sign up for my email list below so that you do not miss out on this, because man, we had 160 applications for a retreat of 27 people. So I definitely want to make sure that everybody gets to come on a magical experience with me. So because it's a solar eclipse, that means that the moon, which represents our emotions, it's like the water element, right? So the moon controls the tides. A solar eclipse means that the moon, our emotions, is passing through Earth, our material reality, and the sun. Not like passing through it, but you know what I mean, like between it. And so the sun is our power. It's our motivation. It's our will. It's our drive. It's our ambition, how we move forward, how we take action. Again, the Earth is our physical reality, our home, our physical environment, our finances, our careers, and then the moon is the water. So if you look at that, and it's only a partial solar eclipse, it's not a full solar eclipse, and it's only visible like down in South America. So I'm really excited for the next solar eclipse that happens up here. And I actually might become one of those eclipse chasers soon enough in my life, because man, it's so magical to see a full solar eclipse and like the stars come out in the middle of the day. It's like, what? So magical. I'm just going to tell you guys, when I saw the solar eclipse, I had like VIP tickets to the eclipse festival, whatever. And I just like, we were going to go and we just didn't. I was like, I just want to watch it in silence and nature. And we ended up pulling off to the side of the road in Oregon, like exactly on the path. And there was this little tiny girl there who was 3 years old. Her name was Poppy. And as it happened, she was literally screaming, 3 years old. And she was like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life. She was like, so cute. So anyways, I'll never forget that moment. It was like so special to be there with her instead of like the whole conscious community, which is where I normally would have been. It was great. Anyways, so this solar eclipse, she's like really on the tangents today, so bear with me. Those of you who are new here, like, thank you. Those of you who love me and know that I'm on tangents, thank you. I appreciate your love and acceptance. So because this life-giving energy of the sun, and Taurus now is where the sun is, so it's in that life-giving energy to our relationship with nature, to our meditation practice, to our physical body, right? Because the earth is also our physical body, and Taurus is an earth sign. So this physical energy of grounding, stability, care for ourselves, that's where that's where the sun is, and then the moon is washing through the tides of that same energy, because the moon is in Taurus as well, right? The sun and the moon during a new moon are in the same sign in the sky. When it's a full moon, they're in the opposite signs. So the sun and the moon are in Taurus. So how are we feeling about how our earthly reality is showing up? How are we feeling about our body, about our meditation practice? And then what way can we shine light? Because our emotions are going to be eclipsing, or like coming in front of, sort of blinding us from the light that's being shown. So our actions. So what this can look like is, a solar eclipse, because new moons are generally about planting seeds and like, what are we doing and how do we move forward in alignment with this particular archetypal sign, that of Taurus, of Venus, of the bull, but really like the bull in its Taurian sense is that, the shape of the skull of a bull is the same as the womb, as the uterus, right? That's why many cultures had sacred rams, bulls, cows, sheep, goats, that kind of energy. That's actually why the devil is like a goat, is because back in the pagan times and, indigenous times in Europe, because you could get so much food and nourishment from those animals, they were incredibly sacred. And so the goddess was where all of life came from. And then the god was like the masculine element of those animals. Like, right, all the nourishment comes from the feminine, from the breasts and the udders of these amazing beings. And then their masculine counterpart, so goddess or the mother, and God, the father, was that horned being. And so when the church took over, they changed goddess to God and God to the devil. So that's a very important little tidbit to know. So that bull energy is actually the most ancient sign of deep nourishment and that strong masculine energy that is the counterpart to the goddess, the full creative life force power of the universe and the nourishment, that which gives birth to all of us and everything. So when you think about this Taurian energy, that bull archetype energy, it really is about standing for nourishing yourself, nourishing others, being the mother, the creator or the creatress of your reality. And so if you are having some emotions, some challenges, or if you're feeling a certain way about your, like that light shining on you, your motivation to take care of yourself, how driven you're feeling, right? Like, if you're not feeling inspired to be on your meditation practice and you're like, oh, well, I don't know, I'll do it tomorrow, or I don't want to, or like I'm depressed, or, I just, whatever it is, or there's like a feeling, maybe there's sadness, maybe there's grief, maybe there's anger, and you're allowing that emotion, right? Like the moon, you're allowing that emotion to eclipse your motivation, the sun, your motivation towards honoring your earthly body, right? Shining that light onto your body with your practice, with your exercise, with your food, right? Like Bear and I are about to do a 3-day water fast, which I'm very excited about. I had a great time last time. I ended up doing 5 days instead of 3 days. I just felt so good. So I really love doing that. So it's a perfect time to do something like that. If you've never done a cleanse or a fast, like this is an amazing time to do it. And it's important to recognize that, again, new moons are about setting new habits in motion, setting new behaviors in motion. So the eclipse is really, some people are like, oh, don't manifest on eclipses. From my perspective, I don't really like subscribe to anything that's too fatalistic, or like, oh, if you do this, like something horrible is going to happen. I'm like, no, like we're all creating our reality. So like, if you believe that something horrible is going to happen, then like maybe something horrible is going to happen. But I don't believe that. So far, like every manifestation or every magical working that I've done on an eclipse, like it's nothing bad has happened, I mean, bad stuff happens all the time, so I'm like, I'm not blaming the eclipses. So what the invitation is really to look at, how are my emotions eclipsing the light or the motivation or the drive that I have to take care of myself and to create that sense of comfort within myself. That sense of, again, it's not about comfort like, okay, cool, like this is a comfortable chair. I mean, kind of like it could use an ottoman, it doesn't have one, but that's okay. But again, about that ability to rest within oneself, to be able to breathe easy in knowing who you are, in loving who you are, in being so grateful for who you are, in honoring your needs, your truth, your desires, and honoring your body, right? Because the earth is a macrocosm of your body, the way your body is a microcosm of the earth, right? This physical, dense bones, skin, this is all the earth. Then that's the wind. all this, I'm like, that blood running through me, the moisture behind my eyelids, the sweet waters in my pussy, that is the water, right? And then there's all these little circuits and all these neurons firing. We call them firing. We have our heart beating and pumping because we have an electrical system. That's the fire inside of us. We are made of the elements. And then miraculously, we're all ourselves, even identical twins are their own person. That's the fifth sacred thing. The fifth element is our soul, our spirit. It is the vibration that makes us who we are. So we get to be really aware of the kind of comfort, the kind of sensual enjoyment that we get or allow ourselves to have in ourself, in our body, in our life, because we are in fact responsible for that. You know, there are unbelievable. I've met some of the poorest people on travels through third world countries, and they're just so happy because they don't need anything else other than what they have. Now, let's be honest, you know, people that are in the war-torn countries right now and throughout the last several thousand years, it's not like they are responsible to just be happy and like grin and bear it. That's ridiculous. This girl made a remix of my reel the other day that I thought was so incredibly toxic. She's like, don't ever let anyone see your emotions because narcissistic people will feed off of that. I'm like, that is so dangerous to say to people. That is so dangerous. Never let anyone see any of your emotions. Fuck that. That's insane. That's crazy. You have to be able to find the kinds of people who can hold your emotions as long as your emotions are coming from true feeling. If you're in victim, if you're in a story, if you're like projecting emotions out onto people and like making it their fault, then that's a completely entirely different story. But if you are genuinely just feeling your feelings and you're grieving or like something sad is happening in your life or you're going through a breakup, it is imperative to have community members, people who love you, who can hold you in your feelings and love you through them and see you through them and know that you are not every single feeling. So please just remember that. I like saw that and I was like appalled. I was like, oh my God, like this is the dangerous part, you know? Anyways, so that's neither here nor there. But we have to be able to honor our bodies, our beingness, that comfort within ourself, that safety to be exactly who and as we are. And to find, like I was just saying, to find our ability to choose. Again, not like in war-torn countries, like that's not their responsibility. You know, that's crazy. If I was going to tell someone to like, oh, just be happy while there's war going on all around you, like that's insane. That's nuts. But for those of us that are living with like the basic needs taken care of, where everything is actually okay, we can choose how to respond rather than react. And that's what this moon is asking of us. It's not about our emotions per se, because Taurus isn't necessarily a very emotional sign, but because the moon, which represents our emotions, is passing in front of the sun, there is an emotional component to this new moon. It's not just like, oh, the new moon is in the sky and like they're both in Taurus and everything's great. It's really about witnessing how your emotions, the core of it is witnessing how your emotions eclipse your motivation and your action towards this earthly energy that is the archetypal frequency or signature of Taurus. So Beltane is a celebration of the cross-quarter day. So the most ancient holidays were the solstices and the equinoxes, the longest and shortest days of the year and the equal days of the year. And then in between those days, there was cross-quarter days. So that's what Samhain or Halloween, All Hallows Eve is. That's what Beltane is. That's what Imbolc is. These are the cross-quarter days. So this cross-quarter, for those of you who are in the Northern Hemisphere, it's Beltane. For those of you in the Southern, obviously it's Samhain, but in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the day that marks really the coming of summer. It's the middle point between the spring equinox and the summer solstice, and it's May Day or May 1st or April 30th, around there. That's usually when it's celebrated. And it is a day of jumping over the fires, celebrating fertility, right? Celebrating all of the harvest and the blossoming and all of the fruits of our labor that are coming in summer. So for us spiritually, this is about all the darkness that we experienced in winter, whether that's in our minds or our hearts and our emotions, whatever you felt in your internal world throughout the winter, whatever felt like darkness to you. From that space, then understanding, okay, that equal moment but on the equinoxes is like the dark and the light coming together, being able to learn from the darkness, integrate what we've seen or witnessed or not seen during that dark time, and shining light on it, illuminating it. We had the Virgo full moon a few days before the equinox. So Virgo is about our service, and it's also an earth sign. So there's no accident that these are all coming in alignment perfectly with these different little things. Like now this is right after Earth Day. And now Beltane, again, is about fertility. It's about like, okay, summer is coming, springtime is springing, all the flowers, all the bunnies. Like my kittens killed a baby squirrel yesterday. It's horrible. I almost just died. But anyways, we're dealing with things like that. They're inside now. And really seeing all these little babies, all this new life. It can be sprouts and blossoms from the trees and new little leaves. It's new life. And so Beltane marks the honoring of the new life and the coming of that full fruition that arises from the new life, right? The peaches and the strawberries and the berries and like all the fruits of our darkness. Those seeds that are in gestation, they are rising now in springtime, and then they come to full fruition during the summer. So that's what Beltane is. So this is also a really powerful time to be looking at, witnessing, how am I relating to my life? How am I relating to the fertility or what I'm creating or what I'm bringing into the world? Again, I highly recommend doing some kind of beautiful, magical, amazing ritual. If you want to like light a bonfire and jump over it, that's one of the ancient ways. Beltane was kind of like the one hall pass day where you could like fuck whoever you wanted, even if you were married. And, you know, there wasn't like marriage in the same way before the church. So, you know, you were allowed to kind of just like have fun. It was like a very orgiastic holiday. And so one of the things that I really recommend doing is just witnessing all the things that have come from, all the beauty that has come from the challenges. What have you learned? How have you grown from your challenges over the last 6 months, or, you know, really like the last several months of the year, 4 months really on Beltane. So that is a really powerful way to do it. You know, building a maypole, again, jumping over the fires, and again, doing some kind of inventory around what this eclipse is asking of you and setting new habits in motion. So if that's an exercise routine, if that's a meditation practice, whatever it is that you know you need to do in order to be motivated, right? Like that's how we can sort of counteract that eclipse energy, is like, I am setting in motion, like bull, I'm like setting my hooves down, you know, and like being that stubborn kind of energy that can be associated with Taurus. And I'm going to do this. I am going to nourish myself. I am going to make this happen. I am committed to this. And so that is really the biggest invitation for any and all of you throughout this process is committing to something that is going to care for yourself, that's going to help you feel sensually alive and in your own comfort with yourself, with your body, with your life, and really walking forward in a new way from this moment, especially in relationship to the earth and in our motivation, how we take action to serve and support her as a reflection of us, and vice versa. How we support ourselves as a reflection of her. How are we nourishing our earthly body, and in return, nourishing the earthly body that nourishes us, that gives us absolutely everything. So again, thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am so grateful to have each and every one of you here and to be able to welcome you to your most magical life.